Hi, my name is Mike Dillard, and this is Self-Made Man, the podcast for those who want to leave their mark on the world and create a legacy of honor, integrity, and achievement in every aspect of your life. I'm glad you're here, and once again, it is time to forge your destiny. Welcome back. 2 weeks ago, we dove into the topic of marketing and branding on YouTube for the first time with Dan Locke. Well, today we're back for part 2 with another entrepreneur who's doing amazing stuff on YouTube, Stephen James. Over the past 5 years, Stephen's built his channel up to over 600,000 subscribers, and the results that investment has produced for his business has been life-changing. In fact, he gets over 1,000 to 2,000 new email subscribers every single day for free just from that traffic produced by his videos. So today we're going to dive into the details. How does he create them? What equipment does he use? Who does the editing? What does he do to prepare for each video? How does he optimize the headline to get the most amount of search traffic? And how does he turn those viewers into paying customers? Today's episode is packed with incredibly valuable insights and resources that'll bring you up to speed on what you need to do to start building your YouTube channel today. With that being said, if you're not a member of selfmademan.com yet, you are missing out, my friend. We just launched the private Facebook group community for members, where myself and all of our podcast experts are jumping into the group live to answer your biggest questions. This is in addition to all of the incredible classes you have access to right now the moment that you become a member. So head to selfmademan.com today and join us. Well, Stephen James, welcome to Self-Made Man. It is a real pleasure to have you here today. I've been looking at your work a lot over the last, I'd say 12 to 18 months, and I really appreciate what you're putting out there in the world, and I'm really glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So for folks who are not familiar with your story, you've built up quite a business as an online entrepreneur. I think you've been around in this world for a good 8 to 10 years. Can you bring all of us up to speed on how you got here?
Yeah, sure. It's been a long journey. I started my journey, I'd say, when I was 17 years old, more so with personal development. I was very shy. I had a lot of challenges in my life at that age, and I discovered Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and the different self-help teachers out there, and really made an impact in my life and made me believe that I could create whatever kind of life that I wanted to. I could change myself. I could change my beliefs, my mindset. I could set goals and actually achieve them. And when I was about 21 years old, I started my first business, which was a local business in Vancouver, Canada, which is where I'm from. And it was actually a dating coaching business, because I had a pretty profound transformation in my life, and I wanted to share that with other men so that they could improve their confidence, their social skills, and I could share a lot of the things that I learned along the way.
Who was your big teacher or person of epiphany, if you will, that sent you down that road?
In terms of the dating, the confidence, the social skills, I would say was David D'Angelo, which most people might know as Evan Pagan, who's a very popular online entrepreneur.
That was the same with me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I read this book called Double Your Dating, and I read it about 7 or 8 times. And, it taught me that it's a learnable skill. There's some people that are more naturally confident and funny, and have these skills to be able to have charisma and attract the opposite sex. But I didn't have any of that, so I had to learn it. I had to cultivate it, and I had to go through the process of that. So I did that for a few years, and I was able to help people in Vancouver, Canada. But I didn't really make much money as an entrepreneur at that stage. I had a passion to help people, but I didn't know marketing. I didn't know business. I eventually kind of realized and learned that you could sell ebooks online, and that'd be a way that I could reach more people. And I spent a year writing an ebook, being a perfectionist with it. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't do much research and whatnot before launching it. And sure enough, when I did, I didn't make much money from it. So it was, I went through maybe a few years, I'd say, once I discovered that you could build an online business. And I think for me that the concept of that came from Tim Ferriss in the book, The 4-Hour Workweek. That just kind of shifted my paradigm, because before then I thought that you had to go to school, get an education, you work for 40 years or so, then you retire, and then then you get to enjoy your life. So that really shifted things for me, the realization that I could build a business, I could make passive income, I could reach more people. And so once I discovered that, I just obsessed myself with trying to figure out how I could make this work. And for the first few years when I was kind of dabbling with this idea of building an online business and trying to learn from blog posts and message boards and trying to put everything together. Did not make much money during that time, maybe a little bit here and there. Sometimes I made some money, but it didn't last. It wasn't sustainable. And it wasn't until I eventually, was continuing to do a lot of self-development and work on myself. And I started actually, I discovered how to do affiliate marketing and creating these little blogs and websites that I can rank in the search engines, and I could attract people and I could do affiliate marketing that way. I used to promote Vitamix blenders and Blendtec blenders and Fitbit and a variety of things like that. But, sure enough, that didn't last either because I think I was just very much in this mindset of just trying to get rich quick, taking the path of least resistance, not actually building something that was sustainable as a business. But I'd say I eventually, went through a variety of different ways of making money, eventually had a big break, had a lot of success with publishing books on Amazon, and built a publishing company where I would publish on Kindle, paperback books, audiobooks, had a lot of success with that. I was 24 years old, became financially free. It was great. I kind of lived the 4-hour work week for a while, which is something that I thought that I wanted. But I came to the realization where I wasn't really happy. I wasn't really fulfilled by what I was doing. I just felt like there was something more for me. I needed a mission. I needed a purpose in my life. And so when I was 25 years old, which is about 7 years ago now, I started Project Life Mastery. And I started this brand and this business not really because I wanted to make money, but because I just wanted to share things that I learned. I found that my nature was coaching people, helping people, wanting to improve and master every aspect of my life and share that with people. I started off as a YouTube channel and a blog. It's now grown to a podcast as well. And I was able to attract a great audience, and I've continued to put out videos and build that brand over the last 7 years now. Today, my YouTube channel has about 600,000 subscribers, reach 1.1 to 1.4 million views per month, and hundreds of thousands of more people on my blog and podcast. From there, a lot of my audience wanted to know how I was building my business and how I was making money online. So I started sharing that with them as well and providing different courses and trainings from that. And yeah, here I am today. So it's been an amazing journey. I've learned and grown a lot. I feel like now when you're living your purpose and your mission, it doesn't feel like work. And I think that's the ultimate goal that everybody should try to aim to get to, where you love what you're doing so much, the money will follow and flow from that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's surprising how similar our stories are.
Oh, cool.
Do you know your Myers-Briggs?
I don't offhand, no.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we had the same one. Very, very similar story. And gosh, I don't know, talent in life or direction, but yeah, it's almost like I'm the United States version of you in many ways. So, cool. So I wanted to really focus today on the YouTube side of your business, because that's a rabbit hole I've been looking into for a couple of weeks now. I've had a lot of really big conversations with colleagues and peers and friends who are in that world. Talked to my buddy Dan Locke a couple of weeks ago about his channel and how he's growing it, and a couple of people who are producers for other YouTubers out there who have really large channels. And I'm trying to get a really good idea of what the return on investment looks like to build a YouTube channel. Because from what I've seen and learned, it takes a really big effort on a regular basis, almost daily, from a video production standpoint. Let's say over the course of 1 to 3 years, to really build up a sizable channel of, let's say, at least 250,000 subscribers to, what you've got right now at around 600,000. And if you could fill us in on the actual return on that for you, besides the fact that you're helping people and it feels good and it's aligned with your purpose in life, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, what can you bring us up to speed on as far as what the experience has been like?
Yeah, as an influencer and a brand, I market it. I market in pretty much every way you can think of. Facebook, Instagram, all social media, blogging, SEO, podcasting, YouTube, PPC. So I pretty much do it all. But I would say that the most powerful marketing strategy and platform that we use is YouTube. And I look at, number one, the trends of the internet, how it's changed a lot since the days, I'm sure, since you and I got started, where before there was, long form sales letters, and it was more email marketing focus. And, there wasn't Instagram or YouTube. There wasn't as much video content. And I look at the trend of the internet and how much video is really taking over the internet. I think it's the most powerful medium out there. And I think that way for a few different reasons. I think, I do a podcast as well, but I personally find that YouTube is significantly more powerful than a podcast, because when someone's sitting in front of the computer or their phone and they're watching you, there's a different level of connection and bond that I feel that people get when they're looking into your eyes. They're seeing your facial expressions, they're seeing your body language and the tone of voice, and they're not distracted. And oftentimes I think when people are on a podcast, for example, they might be driving in their car, they might be at the gym, they might be doing something else and consuming information, which is a fantastic way of doing it as well. But also, I think there's also a very powerful viral effect that can happen on YouTube that is unlike anything else that I've seen from compared to like SEO, for example. Like ranking in Google is a very slow process. I'd say that's way more tedious and long-term than building up a YouTube channel, because, Google doesn't really change the rankings that drastically. There's not a viral effect from that. Versus YouTube, if you trigger their algorithm and you have a great watch time and certain factors, which we can talk about in this video or in this podcast, certain factors like that you can trigger, YouTube will do a lot of promotion for you. They can really blow up your channel, your videos. They can put it on their homepage. They can recommend it next to other videos. So there's a very powerful effect like that which can occur. Also, the fact that you can have specific call to actions in your video where you can, link people or direct them to click a link and go direct to your offer, your sales page, or product or service, whatever that might be. I had a YouTube video, my most popular one to date, that got, as of today, 4.1 million views. Mm-hmm. And that one video, I kid you not, it's probably made me over $1 million.
Wow.
It's made me, just in terms of the monetization of it, just from YouTube. I don't really make that much from that aspect, but that one video alone, I think, has made almost $100,000 just from the ads that YouTube displays on it. But the back end of where I funneled people from that video, how many people, follow me on Instagram because of that, or share these long written stories and emails that they send me. And even, people, I travel all over the world and people stop me everywhere that I go. And it's often because of that video. So it's that effect, that powerful effect that you get. You don't really get it from a podcast because people aren't going to recognize you. It's not going to make you as famous or popular in that way, I think. But, the way that I monetized that was the back end. I funneled people into an email list. I promoted a great product as an affiliate, which has done really well. And just the connection, the bond, the trust, the goodwill, everything that was established from that video has been pretty powerful. So I don't think it has to be a huge commitment. Like I wouldn't say that I spend that much time on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of other things going on versus I know a lot of YouTubers, that's all they do. They just do YouTube videos, but I'm actually running a business with all these different pillars and aspects to it. I try to put up right now 3 videos a week. There were times where I put out 5 videos in a week and sometimes every day. But I don't think it has to be that time consuming necessarily. I mean, you do have to be committed to it. At the beginning, it is slow, just like anything else where you're putting out content and nobody cares. You're not getting any views and you just have to trust the process and keep being consistent with that to get rewarded from it. But, the payoff is beyond anything I could ever imagine. And it's all free traffic for the most part that I'm getting, I'm not paying for it. YouTube's a search engine. I'm ranking my videos there. So I think it's powerful. So as you can tell, I believe in it a lot.
One of the strategies that I'm thinking about along the same lines is that any of the videos we put out, you want to have obviously a really strong call to action, potentially and most likely towards a capture page of some kind so that you can then transfer those people onto your email list and communicate with them in that regard. About how many opt-ins do you get, on a daily basis, do you think, from YouTube?
Over 1,000.
Wow.
Say.
Okay, that's significant. That's a lot more than some other individuals I've talked to, but I don't think that they're very effective or consistent when it comes to really strong calls to action.
Yeah, every video I do is to a lead magnet. I also do confirmed opt-in. I'm not actually really that after as many leads. I'm more after the quality of them. And one thing I love like, I don't actually view myself as that great of a marketer. Sometimes I go to these events and there's, marketers that are so much smarter than I am. But I think what I'm really good at is creating content and being able to add value to people. And I think when you add value to people's lives and you get that trust, the marketing kind of takes care of itself. I've had people, because of my YouTube channel, I launch a product and they buy it and they say, Stefan, I didn't even care for the product. I didn't even want to use it. I just bought it because I want to support you, because you've added so much value to my life. So I think there's a layer of reciprocity that can happen there, but also people are being pre-framed. They're being, you're turning a cold lead into a warm and a hot lead. So by the time they opt in, and by the time they find out your product and service, you don't really need to have amazing copy. You don't have to have as an amazing of an offer because of the relationship that you've already cultivated. So I think the quality of leads that you get, I'm always after that. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, agreed. This world is so much easier than people make it out to be. I am very similar. I actually don't go to any of the big internet conferences. Ryan Dice is a really good friend of mine here in Austin for the past 10 years, and I've never been to traffic and conversion because I don't want to get distracted, and it's not that complicated. So, like you said, if you put out great content and you're just really good at communicating, if you know how to write a persuasive message or, script for a video or whatever it may be, and you're genuine about it, and you put out high quality stuff, that's all you need to do. And I think the most sophisticated I get is with a split test these days. That's all that's required, really. So, yeah, definitely agree there. When it comes to advertising revenue for your channel, which you mentioned a minute ago, I'm not interested in that really at all. I think that's kind of a cherry on top if you make it, but the business model there is just not really efficient. Do you think that YouTube will display your videos and promote your channel more often if you have ads turned on because that's what's making them money versus keeping them turned off?
I often think maybe the opposite, but that could be a good point. That could be true. I personally think you'll get more views and engagement without ads turned on. I don't monetize every video, and oftentimes I turn off monetization if I'm already monetizing the video through like a product I'm promoting as an affiliate or something like that. So sometimes I'll turn it off initially, and especially so that video can get more traction and more views, just because I think, anytime you have an ad that's going to pop up before the video, there's going to be a percentage of people that you're going to lose them right off the gate that could potentially be a great view for you that could, move the needle with that video. I have a YouTube rep. So at a certain point, once you get to I think over 100,000 subscribers, Google gives you a YouTube rep. And this is someone that works with other YouTubers and they help you grow your channel. And I've learned a lot from working with this rep, because we'll get on calls and, I'll ask questions and I'll give different feedback and ideas based on what other YouTubers are doing. I know what the biggest factor is in what determines the biggest factor of what YouTube looks at to rank a video, to promote a video. And it's not really views, it's not subscribers, it's not likes or comments, it's watch time.
Yeah.
That's the biggest factor of what YouTube looks at. They've changed their algorithm over the years, but watch time is the most important thing, because if somebody watches a video and they watch it to the end, that's a good indicator for YouTube that that's a good quality video. Views, comments, subscribers, all those things, they do make a difference, but not as significantly as much as the watch time. So when I create my videos, I'm really thinking about how can I really engage with people so that they're going to watch it to the end and maybe take some sort of action in their life too, because I want to inspire people to act. There's a lot of information out there online, but I think sometimes people get too much in this passive mode where they're just watching or consuming information, but they're not doing anything with it. I look at that as the biggest factor, but who knows? Nobody really knows for sure. Maybe that is something that could definitely help, but I know a lot of YouTubers out there that don't monetize their videos with ads that have, really big and great channels too.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I would prefer the same. I'd prefer not to have ads on mine because I don't want to distract away from, this piece of work that I've put out for my audience. But at the same time, I'm like, what incentive does YouTube have at that point to show it to more people? Because it's costing them money at that point, right? Let's just say from bandwidth, if nothing more, than, not including the revenue opportunity. So yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you, Stefan, everybody listening right now, if we wanted to get involved in YouTube and build a channel up to, let's say, 250,000 subscribers, what would you tell me to do?
Yeah, well, at first I'd say don't necessarily make subscribers your goal, because how many subscribers you have doesn't matter that much as it used to. It's kind of like Facebook. Remember when Facebook, you had a Facebook page and you had like 100,000 subscribers and you put out a post and a lot of those people are going to see it. Now you can have 100,000 subscribers on Facebook, and like the reach that you get is so bad because Facebook wants you to boost your post and promote it. And I've kind of found that to be the case with YouTube now too, because I think maybe a year or two ago, YouTube changed it so that your subscribers don't get notified of your videos unless they click this bell button to actually turn on their notification to actually get notified of your videos. So that was a factor that a lot of people were unhappy with. But it all goes to show too that these platforms, you can't 100% depend on them, as I see a lot of people do, because you're at the mercy of YouTube, you're at the mercy of Facebook or Instagram or Google, so you can't fully depend on them for that. But I would say, if you're just getting started, you want to build up a channel, one, you got to identify the niche, the market that you want to publish videos on. You have to make sure there's a demand there for it. YouTube is a search engine just like Google. It's the second, I think, largest search engine out there. So when you're first starting out, you're going to want to create videos not based on what you think is going to be great or what you want to create, but you have to identify what people are searching for and create videos and content based on that. And I recommend when you're first starting out, because your YouTube channel doesn't have that much authority yet, you're going to have to probably create videos that are targeting more long tail keywords. So there's short tail and long tail keywords. Short tail keywords might be 1, 2, or 3 words. Long tail might be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more specific keyword phrases. So for example, short tail might be weight loss. Long tail keyword might be weight loss tips for men. So they're going to be a lot less competitive. It's going to give you more of an opportunity to get your videos viewed by people. And then just understand when you're first doing this, just like with anything, it's going to be slow. You're going to put out videos and no one's going to watch them, or you're going to put all this time, effort into creating something that you think is going to be great, but you might have 10 people that watch it. And that could be a little bit discouraging for people. That's where I see most people, they give up. But you have to still believe and have faith in the process of this. I kind of use the analogy as kind of like planting seeds, that every video that you create, it's like you're planting a seed in the soil. And at first you come back, a week after you plant it, you're not going to see anything, but you still have to be consistent to water it, to nurture it, to continue planting seeds. And as you're patient and as you're consistent and as you're taking good care of it, those seeds will eventually sprout and they'll blossom. They'll turn into, great trees. And once you go through that process, after you get to a point, I'd say, where you get to maybe 1,000 subscribers, things become so much easier and faster, because now all of a sudden, every video that you put out, you have a core fan base of subscribers that are going to watch that video, which is going to give it a boost right off the gate. So for me now, because I've built my channel, every video that I put out will get a couple thousand views right away. Some will get 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 or more, depending on the topic and how good the content is. And that will just boost the organic ranking for that video on YouTube. And then YouTube kind of takes care of the rest from there. So you have to be consistent. The more that you can produce, the better, So if I could put out 3 videos a day, I definitely would. I remember that was one piece of advice that I got from a really top YouTuber. Make it your goal to do 3 videos a day. I do 3 a week. There was times where I was doing 5 in a week or more. But I find that you got to find a number that you can commit to make sure that you're going to stick with it. Because if you set something too crazy for yourself and you don't stick with it, then you're not going to get anywhere. So as long as you identify I recommend a minimum once a week, not any less than that, but start from there. If you could do more than that, great. You got to promote your videos. Every video that I put out, I embed it on a blog post. I write an article with it that could be SEO optimized. I share it on all my social media platforms. I email it out to my email list. I try to collaborate with other YouTubers and influencers out there as well. So, it's just the hustle initially that you have to get to that point of 1,000 subscribers. And then I think from there, it does become significantly easier. And then sometimes you just have, for me, if you look at my journey, there's been certain videos that I do that I've done that have just blown up. I did this one video in 2012 sharing my morning ritual, and that video blew up and really put me on the map. And I think the more consistent that you are with this, and the more I guess, shit that you throw against the wall, something will stick. You'll have a video that will just do way more significantly better than every other video. And every once in a while, you'll have one of those, and that will really make the biggest difference in your channel in growing it. So that's where the consistency comes in, and just trusting the process. And that, for me, like that one video that got over 4 million views, that, I probably got over 100,000 subscribers just from that one video. So I wish I could always reproduce videos like that. It's not that easy, but you always just strive to do the best that you can, add value to people. And then sure enough, every once in a while you have a video like that just blows up and makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, agreed. Same with the podcast. I've said this many times on the show here, but when I first started this and I talked to some friends in that world, they're like, don't bother unless you're willing to do a show at least once a week for 3 years. And I think the consistency here is a huge piece to this as well. And that's really why I've been spending weeks now contemplating everything that goes into this, because I know if I want to do it, then I'm going to go in 100% to get the result out of it. And I know the work that's going to take. So I don't think this is something you make a decision, lightly about. But the part that I really enjoy about YouTube is the long tail. The ROI on a video, the tail on that return is so long. It's over the course of years. It's 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That video is still getting views every single day. Just like a podcast, but probably even more so. And that to me is a really worthwhile investment, as opposed to, let's say, Instagram, or how Snapchat used to be, where your stuff disappears and people scroll through it. It's got a 24-hour lifespan and poof, it's gone. That really doesn't interest me very much. But YouTube, on the other hand, I can really see a lot of benefit in. So absolutely agreed.
Yeah, like the video that I have, or because my channel gets over 1 million views a month, those 1 million views aren't from my latest videos. It's the hundreds of videos that I published the years before that continue to get views. And so that's the cool aspect of it. I agree. I mean, you have those videos that rank, and right now as we're talking, people are watching my videos, they're listening to your podcast as well, and here we are having this conversation. So it has that leverage and that scalability of it, which is really cool.
I might be mistaken on this, but I thought I heard a year or two ago YouTube stopped counting views from embedded videos. Is that the case?
I don't think so. Because if I look at my analytics of a video, I can see where the views are coming from. So it'll show me specific websites that the views are coming from, embeds, shares on Facebook, etc. So it will give you all the analytics and stats. So I don't see why it wouldn't. I believe it still does.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, cool. And you're cranking out all of this great proprietary content. Obviously, there's a huge audience for you. Are you leveraging that on Facebook as well? Because, Facebook is pretty cool to you. They're all right with you if you'll put up great content, specifically video content, and not take people off of their platform, but you just post it there. Are you doing that as well and posting these same videos on your fan page?
Yes. We try to repurpose the content as much as we can. So I've got a great team that helps me now, where every video that I publish on YouTube, we turn it into a podcast. We put it up on Facebook, or Facebook fan page. We have different playlists there as well. We take clips of it and we create Instagram content from that, either in story form or on the feed. We turn it into a blog post. So we try to repurpose as much as we can. I even have a team that will take specific quotes and phrases that I might say that could be inspiring quotes that we can use as Twitter content, Facebook content, Instagram content. So if I'm going to spend 30 minutes, creating a quality video, I want to repurpose that as much as I can, so that can reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. I don't see why you wouldn't do that, right? So that makes a lot of sense. When it comes to YouTube again, success is always in the details. It's in the tiny little things like that, like repurposing, like having a call to action, that are really important. Are there any parts of building out your YouTube presence that you think are those little tiny critical details? And an example of that might be either setting up the various playlists that you have, or choosing the look and feel of the thumbnail, maybe the color of the font that you're using and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at what's going to make the biggest difference, your thumbnail, your headline, those are, incredibly important. The more that you optimize those and get really great at that, it's going to make a huge difference. You could have an amazing video, and I have certain videos that are amazing, but I didn't, choose a great headline for it. I didn't choose a great thumbnail for it. And so sure enough, nobody really cared. Not many people watched it. So headlines, thumbnails, very important. When it comes to ranking a video in YouTube, you want to make sure that the raw file name, meaning the file name you upload to YouTube, has the keywords in it that you want to rank for. I recommend putting the keyword in the title of the video and also in the description at least 3 times. There's also a tag section where you can throw in different keywords. A great tool that we use is called TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is free. They do have different paid versions as well, but it's a browser extension that allows you to better optimize your videos. You can even split test your thumbnails or headlines. There's a lot of cool features that it has for YouTubers. So TubeBuddy is great. Let's see. And I when I look at it at the end of the day, though, if you're to take the 80-20 of this, it comes down to just amazing quality content. And I've done a lot of SEO. That's my second biggest medium of traffic is from Google, my articles and whatnot. And a lot of people, when it comes to SEO, they want to manipulate the search engines. They want to manipulate YouTube, and they want to get these low quality backlinks, and there's a lot of that kind of goes into it. But at the end of the day, what really matters is quality content. And if you just focus on improving that and making that the best you can possibly be and just master that craft, everything else will take care of itself. People will like your videos, they'll share it, they'll subscribe. And so I always try to create that kind of reaction from people with my content. And I find, I don't have to worry that much about all the other things I think other people worry about. I would say just put your focus in just trying to create quality content, make it better and better and better. And for me, my content is actually fairly long on YouTube. I remember a lot of people said, oh, you got to create videos that are 5 or 10 minutes long. No one's going to watch a video that's an hour long. And, for me, I believe the opposite. If I can get someone to be engaged for an hour with me on a video, then that's going to, not only the relationship and the quality of lead and the bond, the connection, the trust that's established there is powerful, even if it gets a lot less views. That quality that a relationship we're establishing is more powerful. But again, the watch time, if someone's watching an hour-long video of you and they're engaged with it, then YouTube's going to reward you with it. That's why the most popular videos that I have are usually around 30 minutes and longer. So that comes down to quality.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually had a conversation about that exact same thing last night with a producer who helps produce the videos for a bunch of really popular channels. And, they're always shooting for videos that are 5 to 10 minutes long. And I was like, I don't really think that matters. I'm more of along the same lines of you and Tim Ferriss, where if the quality of the content is phenomenal, the longer the better. So yeah, I tend to agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And especially for me, my brand is mastery. And for me, mastery is depth. It's not at the surface. And I want to, I really want to change people's lives and really help them. So I want to go deep with them as much as I can. So I try to be raw, authentic, real. And I think that comes across and it, makes a difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the key to long-term success. This is really not hard. And if you'll do the right thing over an extended period of time, that's what most people are unwilling to do because they don't have the patience for it or they get greedy. But if you'll do that, then once you get to the top, man, you're just standing like yourself, 10 years of work, same with me. And everything is just effortless at that point because you've built this solid foundation that's really hard to compete against. And it's just built on value and honesty and integrity. And surprise, surprise, things get really easy once you've put yourself in that position. So
very true. Yeah.
Awesome. What else do we need to know about YouTube that I haven't asked you yet that I'm not aware of?
I would say I imagine a lot of the people here that are listening to this right now, there's a lot of barriers that come up from people. And I think that's the thing with YouTube. There is maybe more of a higher barrier of entry. A lot of people, I think, they don't want to put themselves out there. They have some fear. They have some, maybe insecurity about how they look or how they sound or whatever the barrier might be. And I think it's maybe worth kind of addressing that as well. For me, I think one thing that's important is whatever channel that you're going to create, you have to be passionate about the subject. You have to really enjoy it. You have to believe in it. I believe that a lot of it isn't necessarily what you say, it's how you say it. If you're creating a YouTube channel, but you don't really believe in what you're sharing, you're not passionate, enthusiastic about it, and that's going to come across. It's not going to come across to your subscribers and your viewers. And then also, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to stick with it because you don't believe or enjoy the process of it. I'll share with you like a mindset that I take on. When I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't do it for money. I did it because I wanted to, number one, better integrate what I was already learning in my life. Because I love self-development. I love learning about business, all these different aspects of life. And I think one of the best ways to really learn something and integrate in your life and to master it is to teach it, to share it. I think, when I took my approach was, I'm not necessarily the guru or the expert. I'm just someone on the journey. That's why I call it Project Life Mastery. I'm on this journey and I'm learning as much as I can. And anything that benefits me in my life, I tend to have a passion for it, and I want to share that with other people. I think it's common for a lot of people. If you learn something, you're excited about something, you want to share that. You want to share that with your friends, your family, your life partner, or whatever that might be. So for me, that mindset has really served me throughout the years. I kind of view it as I get a lot of benefit from every video that I put out, regardless of if anyone watches it. Like if nobody watched my YouTube videos, I'd be fine with that because I'm still benefiting, because it's forcing me to teach and share these things. That's really adding a lot of value to my life because I have to live it more. I have to learn it better and apply it more to my life as well. So that's the kind of mindset and approach that I originally took from it. I never try to be a perfectionist. I've got tons and tons of videos where, the audio quality was bad. I was out of focus. The lighting was bad. And, you still have to overcome those different aspects of, wanting everything to be perfect. I think oftentimes the more raw and authentic something is without great video production quality, the more people can relate to it as well. I started off just with a little camera on a stack of books in my little apartment, and I didn't have audio equipment. I didn't know much about video production, but you don't need to. And I think now today is easier than ever before because you can record videos on your phone. There's just so many more mediums that you can start a YouTube channel with. So I think, just taking the approach of doing it because you enjoy it, you love it. For me, it's always my number one focus and intent is to add value to people. Making money is always secondary. And if sometimes if you compromise that, you're going to get in trouble. I look at it a similar way with affiliate marketing too, that if I'm just promoting products just for the purpose of making money, well, if the product's not that great or whatever, it's going to come across to people that I don't really believe in the product. And so I try to always make sure that I put my audience first. I'm trying to focus on meeting their needs. And in doing so, I think my needs get met simultaneously. I make money in the process of that. And I think having that commitment, that desire to help people, to make a difference, I think that's the right mindset to approach this.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. I know when I had that epiphany, when I was just getting started, failed 5 years in a row, and it was all about just making enough money to pay my rent. But ironically, as long as I had that attitude, I didn't make any money. And then when I finally let that go and I was like, okay, I'm just going to teach whatever I have available to me, even if it's nothing but the mistakes that I've made, at least that'll be valuable to somebody. That's when everything really flipped, and it just made a 180 very, very, very quickly. And before I knew it, everything started working. It was really cool. I have to ask you on the subject, because this is a tough thing for people to deal with as well, especially if they're new to putting themselves in the spotlight. How do you handle the trolls? Because YouTube is infamous for the troll culture here.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely going to get some of that. Number one, I look at it when you get trolls as an indicator of success. It's an indicator that you're on the right track. So if you do get a troll, celebrate it. Be like, wow, that's so cool. I'm at a position now where I'm reaching enough people that I do have some people that don't agree with what I have to say, or whatever it is. I mean, that's kind of an indicator, I think, that you're on the right track, because everybody who's successful, every YouTuber, but anyone throughout history, they've all been told that they're an idiot, they're stupid, they're a loser, or whatever it is, whether it's Steve Jobs or Thomas Edison or anyone throughout history, they've all encountered that. So I look at it as, okay, I'm on the right track. So that's a good sign. I'm reaching people. That's great. I think number two, understand that it never has anything really to do with you. People, they just project whatever they're feeling in the moment. They project their negativity, their insecurities. If someone's judging you, I can guarantee that they judge themselves much harsher. So I try to always take this approach of having compassion for people, trying to understand, where they're coming from in their lives. I never take it personally. Also for me, I don't, at this point right now, I don't really look at comments that much. I have a team that moderates my comments and everything for me. I try to make sure that my YouTube channel is a positive place for everyone because, we've all seen different YouTube videos or channels where it could be a great video, but then you scroll down to the comment section and people are fighting and arguing and calling each other names. And, I don't personally want that to enter into my psyche. And I also don't want my subscribers and, people that are watching, consume my videos to get caught up in that either. So, we try to make sure that there's, those trolls or negative people, they aren't they get their comments. You can hide comments on YouTube. So it actually still shows for the person that posted the comment, but you can hide it so no one else sees it. But yeah, I mean, you can moderate that. You can have someone like a virtual assistant that can moderate that for you so that you don't get caught up and consumed by that. But also, it's an opportunity for you to grow. And I think after times you get numb to it. Like it doesn't really affect you that much. When I was a dating coach, I used to take out guys to go out and meet women at a bar or club. And, most of them had a fear of rejection. And so I'd say, great, let's go get rejected 10 times tonight. So I'd intentionally try to go out with them to get rejected. And sure enough, it's actually very hard to get rejected. And when you do get rejected, it's not really rejection. It's just the person's busy or they're not that interested or they've got a boyfriend or whatever it might be. But you come into a powerful realization that everything's still okay. That the next day you're going to wake up, their life's going to go on. You're going to forget about them. They've already forgotten about you. And I think that's a powerful experience because the more that you just go through that, you become just more confident and comfortable with yourself where those things don't really affect or phase you that much. So everybody has to go through that process. But I think if you take a positive mentality and approach to it, you can learn from it. It can make you stronger. It can motivate you at times as well. I've had many times where it's motivated me to improve or do better. But that's just the price that comes with success. And it's ultimately a good thing. It's a sign that you're on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you talked about essentially the curation of your comments because I'm the same way. If someone wants to be an asshole, frankly, then that's their business. But I don't want that around me or, my audience. So it's just delete and block. And that's just how I've always handled things. Other people feel that it needs to be this wide open discussion. And I'm like, they can go do that somewhere else. This is, this is essentially our room, if you will. And we're the same way. We want to have a really positive energy around that for everybody involved. And it's just a part of it, but that's good to know that you guys are fairly similar in how you handle that. Man, we've covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. And just to comment on that too, just not tolerating negativity, disrespect, abuse. I have no tolerance for that. If you're disrespecting or abusing myself or my team or, my followers, subscribers, then, you're not going to have a place to consume my content. I believe it's a privilege for me to reach people, but it's also a privilege for them to consume my content. And at any moment I can revoke that privilege. So, that's kind of how I view it. And similar if I had someone over at my house and they're being mean or disrespectful, I'm going to ask them to leave. It's just, I don't have time to tolerate that. And I think, part of the solution too is just be so busy creating content, creating value that you don't even get caught up in it. You don't even have time to focus on that. I try to put my head down, create as quality content as I can. And every once in a while I look at the stats, analytics, the comments and whatnot. But, I just try to put my head down and create value. And I think, that's the most important thing. And some people will like it, some people won't. And that's okay, as long as the majority of people are enjoying it. And that's a sign that you're on the right track. You're not for everybody. You're for some people, and those that you are for, you want to put your focus and attention on serving them.
Yeah, absolutely. So one other thing that we haven't talked about yet that I'd love to cover is your actual production process. So are you sitting down each week and are you thinking of 3 different topics maybe that you want to make videos about? And then are you creating, let's say, a 1-page outline for each of those? What does it look like?
Yeah, so I try to always create my videos in bulk. So I'll have a specific day every week or two, and I'll set up my camera equipment, set up the lighting. I'll put myself in a great state, and I'll record as many videos as I possibly can. I think it's more efficient doing it that way because one, for me, I'm always traveling around, so it's can be time consuming to set up my cameras and set the lighting, the focus, and make everything set up. But also, once you get into a flow state, everything just kind of comes out of you, and it's just so much easier to create a second, a third, a fourth video once you've already created one. So I found that for me, that's the most efficient way of doing it. I have a specific process and ritual before I create a video. I talked before, I believe that the state that you're in is very important, and how you say things, not necessarily what you say. I believe in speaking with confidence, passion, enthusiasm, because it's contagious. It's infectious to the people that are consuming your content. So I have a ritual where I put myself in a great state. I try to get myself out of my head, so I'm not micromanaging things too much or analysis paralysis. My thoughts are just kind of flowing out of me. And I ask myself certain questions. Some of the questions I ask myself is, why is what I'm sharing important? Why do I care about the people that are consuming my content? They're watching my videos. How can I best serve them? What do I respect about them? And asking these questions, they put me in a powerful state that, allows me to communicate, I think, in a much more powerful way. And that comes across, I think, in the videos. So I put myself in a great state. For me, actually, I don't do much prep for my videos. The prep that I'll do is I'll figure out a headline, a topic that I want to create a video on. Sometimes it's based on things that I'm learning in my life. Sometimes it's based on, I had a conversation with someone, or I'm coaching a client and something came up that I want to share in a video. Sometimes it's based on just seeing what's out there, what people are searching for, and what's popular, what other people are doing on YouTube. And I get an idea of, I want to share my perspective and create a video on that as well. I always believe if you don't have things to share or talk about, then you're not learning enough. And for me, that's always been a very important thing. Like, I'm always reading books. I'm always going to seminars. I'm always immersing myself as much as I can so that I can grow to be the best that I can be. And I believe that the more that I grow, the more I have to give, the more I have to share. So usually for me, I don't have notes when I record. I do everything in one take. I don't edit my videos together that much. I try to make sure it's raw, authentic, real. I think there's different ways that you can go about it. I know some people, they chop up their videos and it's highly edited. But for me, again, I'm after that connection. I'm after that trust. And I think the more raw and authentic that I can be with my videos and content, that if I mess up, I can continue going with it. And I think that transparency makes a difference as well. The only videos that I actually really prepare for, and I'll write out in Evernote, is if I'm doing a video that's like 5 steps or 5 ways to do X, Y, Z, or 10 ways to do this. Then I usually have to write it out because I can't always necessarily remember it. But I just trust myself and just communicate, and everything just kind of flows out of me.
And then do you is someone filming, there with you now? I know probably in the beginning that wasn't the case, but let's just say if you're starting out, do you take that footage and then, let's say, dump it into Dropbox and then send that off to an editor, or are you doing all of the editing yourself as well?
Yeah. So when I first started, I did all the editing myself. So just to back up, it's usually just me and my camera. I use a DSLR camera. I travel around all the time, so it's just me setting that up. I have a videographer as well, and sometimes I travel with that person, or at certain locations I'll work with him. He'll film certain videos that I need done like that. But yeah, once I record the videos, I throw them up in Dropbox. I use Asana in my business, and so I'll create some Asana projects and tasks, and I'll put in the title of the video. I'll provide the link for the video from Dropbox so that they can download and start editing it. I'll provide some notes on it. I'll provide just kind of a few other details for that video so that my team could then take it, put it up there, promote it, publish it, and pretty much take care of everything else for me. So when I first started, I was doing all that myself, but I found that the post-production process was so time-consuming that if I could outsource that and get other people to handle that for me, then I could just focus more on creating more and more videos and content. So that for me has made a big difference. At first, you probably are going to have to do a lot of that yourself. And that's a good way to learn, because I think there's a lot of valuable skills that you gain from that. But eventually you're going to want to delegate that to someone else so that they can take care of that for you.
Absolutely. That is not a good use of your time. You would be much better served working on your next video and recording that than editing your previous one, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's really good to know. What's your camera of choice these days? Which DSLR are you using?
So I use the Panasonic GH5.
Yep, that's what we have too.
Yeah, so I think that's a great one. I use the Sennheiser Labs, wireless labs. And then I also have another camera, which is more I use for interviews. It's a Canon C300 Mark II, a lot more expensive. It's, I think, a $15,000, $20,000 camera, but it's more of a cinematic camera that I've done different videos for. It's also really great for live streaming too. So I like to do some live streams on YouTube and set it up with an SDI output and connects to my computer and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, I do a lot on my iPhone too. I use the iPhone 10. And I'm always blown away just by the quality of those. And oftentimes when I'm doing vlogs or I'm out, traveling around or out in public and I have an idea that I want to share, I'll just take out my iPhone and record a video like that. So I think you don't necessarily need to think that you need expensive camera equipment. You can just start with whatever you got. And then as you make some money with it, then you can upgrade.
Very cool. Very cool. And final question for you, just for fun here. Who is your favorite YouTuber to watch?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's funny. I don't really watch that many YouTube videos lately. I watch a lot of sports stuff because I'm really into basketball. But, certain YouTubers that influenced me throughout the years, Elliott Hulse was a great one. He's in the fitness niche, like his brand's called Strength Camp. So I watched him a number of years ago. In the dating niche, I used to follow and watch Real Social Dynamics. Let's see, who else?
Good old Tyler.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I don't watch that many videos that often. I try to spend most of my time creating content than consuming content. And when I do consume content, it's usually books, seminars, coaches, courses that I might go through.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Stefan, this has been awesome, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. You've given us just a ton of really great nuggets and filled in a lot of the big questions around YouTube that I know I've had, and I'm sure a lot of our audience has as well. So obviously people can go to projectlifemastery.com to check out your blog and everything that you have there. And the YouTube channel, I'm assuming, is the same channel as well?
Yep, just check out Project Life Mastery on YouTube.
Awesome. And is there anywhere else where people should go to connect with you? Are you really active on Instagram or Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram primarily. Stefan James 23 is my handle. Twitter as well, Facebook. I've got a Facebook page. I'm pretty much everywhere. So if you just go to my website, projectlifemastery.com, then you can find all my social media links there. Awesome, brother. Well, thank you again. This was fantastic. I really do appreciate it. And guys, make sure you go plug into his work, subscribe to the YouTube channel, start watching what Stefan's doing and modeling that for yourself and your business. And he gave you the keys to the kingdom today. So thanks so much for listening as always, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Talk about